What's up, Brigade? How are you? Happy Tuesday. Welcome into a new episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. My name is Matt Peralta. We are live on YouTube and on X. We're replayed on Sports Grid television and audio podcasts, wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. Brigade, you guys are up early. Appreciate you jumping in. Every day is Thanksgiving if you're living here with the Brigade. Appreciate you, Tyrone. Good stuff. Yes, I got Jimmy football. We got some college basketball coming up later on. We got 2 games at MSG to break down coming up here for today. Looking forward to getting into those games. I'm not betting it. I'm going to stay away from it. I've had a really rough start to the college basketball betting season. I'm just going to watch and learn, because sometimes the best bet you make is the one you don't make. But we did really well last night. Last night was one of those nights. Every now and then you get a moment, you get a window, and when the window is there, you got to try to shoot that golf ball like tin cup style, right? You got to hit it over out of the sliding glass window, off the hard deck, over the fountain, onto the green. Sometimes you just got to get a little bit frisky. And I got a little frisky last night, and we swept it because the Raiders are awful. And I love that the country is just waking up to this idea that the Raiders are a horrific team. Now, will they be long-term? I don't know, but right now, they are manure. They are fertilizer. They are pathetic. Like, all the way from Pete Carroll down to, like, the backup punter. Everyone needs to go. Like, Ashton Genty, I love you. Brock Bowers, I love you. If I were the Raiders, I would have shopped. If I'm Tom Brady, I'm like, I bought this team. How did I bought, this is my team. These are the guys that represent the organization that I am now called owner. Yikes. Sometimes it is that easy. It's not always that easy, but sometimes it is that easy. It's just a layup. It's just Cowboys off a bye. Raiders stink. Route. If you had the under in that game, though, oh my. What a bad beat. What a bad beat. You can't run all game. Chip Kelly calls 4. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 run plays in the first half. 91.4% passes. That's the most any team in the NFL has done this year. You know Geno Smith's your quarterback, right? Like, you know what you're working with, right, Chip? What is that? And then you get stuffed in the end zone running a draw play from your own 1-yard line. That's the safety. That's how the game goes over. Holy Christmas. Wow. I feel for you. I didn't touch the total for that reason. I wanted no part of it. I was like, I'm not touching the total. Big money came on the under. It's a bad loss. It's just a really, really bad loss. It is a Tuesday. That means we get into my top 5 for teams in the NFL following week number 11. And we have seen some pretty big turmoil here. A lot of switching up with the top 5 as to who I think the best team in the NFL is. If you are a fan of the Colts, I'm sorry. Your team is no longer a top 5 team in my mind. In fact, I think the Colts are in big trouble this weekend against the Chiefs. If you're looking at a number, laying 3 with Kansas City before that number climbs, I like that play. I don't like Indy's chances coming up here today, or this weekend rather, coming up on Sunday on the road. I think it's going to be a tough hill to climb for the Colts. They're not in the top 5. Let's talk about who is, though. It is the opening line being presented by Huel, my top 5 teams after week 11 in the NFL. It's being brought to you by our friends at Huel. This is a meal, not a protein shake. If you guys are like me, I had a crazy morning today. I had to go to the dentist at 7:30. I had to come here and prepare. I had to do a bunch of stuff for work outside of the stuff happening here for BVB. I had to make one of these shakes really fast just to get some nutrition into my body. The Black Edition protein powder shakes are a meal that you can do either with 200 or 400 calorie. If you go with the 400 calorie option, it's a 40 gram shake of protein, plant-based protein, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no artificial sweeteners. It's gluten-free. It is vegan. Huel makes healthy eating simple. They've just launched their greens and they're pre-packaged in Target nationwide here in America. You can try Huel with 15% off your first purchase for new customers with a minimum order of $75. Use the code BVB at www.huel.com. BVB, Huel.com/BVB. Huel makes eating healthy simple. Number 5, I can't move my team off of this. And I know you're probably going to say, Matt, you're being really ridiculous with this because the Patriots, are they one of the top Super Bowl contenders? I would say no. But in terms of top 5 and rankings, I don't know how you don't put the Patriots there at number 5. They are 9-2. They are tied with the Broncos for the best record in the NFL. And frankly, if you're looking at the pecking order as to how this is going to go and how the year could go, the number 1 seed, it's New England's if they want it. As I said, I don't think the Colts are going to be part of this conversation. And the Broncos have a pretty difficult schedule. Like the Broncos are going to wind up with, I think, 4 losses. The Patriots, we'll see what the tiebreakers look like. But, the Patriots schedule, they have 2 tough games left on their schedule. They get to play the Bengals coming up this weekend without Jamar Chase. He's not going to be there. So the Patriots are now 8-point favorites to win the game and cover here against the Bengals. They'll then go to 10-2. Then they have the Giants going to Foxborough. Then their bye week. Like they're going to be 11-2 going to their bye. And then they play 2 tough games. They play the Ravens and the Bills, or Bills and the Ravens. And the Bills, after they beat them in Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills are going to show up pissed off in New England, wanting to beat the Patriots. But there's probably 2 losses left on the schedule for the Patriots. So, they have to be a top 5 team right now, given the way Drake May is playing, the MVP conversation for Drake May, the fact that their team defensively does not give up running yards to anyone, and their secondary has one of the best cover corners in the NFL. They have a pass rush, and I know losing Milton Williams is a big loss, but he's going to come back, okay? So it's not like he's gone for good. So I think he's definitely something you have to look at for a defensive perspective. But again, get him back for the Bills game. He can rest for a month before he has to play again against the Bills. So that's for an ankle injury, that's a good amount of time to get a guy back. So Patriots, I know people might scoff at it, but 9-2 is 9-2. Number 4, my number 1 team for the last 3 weeks has fallen. Seattle, yikes. 4 interceptions for Sam Darnold. They're still in the top 5. It's just 1 game, but they're now 4, and they're trending downwards given the way that they played. And Mike McDonald tried to kind of come out and explain what happened with the 4 interceptions. He said yesterday the majority of them, meaning the 4 picks, came late in downs where we just need to get to the next play. Sam has played on time and in rhythm a lot this year, and he's made a lot of plays for us doing that. He's also made a lot of plays off schedule. You don't want to take the playmaker out of him, but you also understand when we need to be able to get to the next play versus putting the ball in jeopardy down the field, which is the old Sam Darnold. The old Sam Darnold showed up. And for those people that have been saying, wait for the pumpkin, it's going to happen, that's what they're going to point to. He can't play against Sean McVay. His numbers are awful. Like you look at the overall career numbers for Sam Darnold up against Sean McVay. It's awful. Whether he's with the Vikings or whether now with the Seahawks, it doesn't matter. They have really struggled. He can't beat Sean McVay. So tuck that away in your brain. If they do play in the playoffs, that's not great. But Seattle, even with how poorly they played, even with the fact that they had way too many turnovers, 4 interceptions by Sam Darnold, they still lined up for a 61-yard field goal to win that game. Now it missed, but they had a shot to win the game. So Seattle plays their D game, like just awful. And even though Stafford didn't do incredible things for the Rams, he played a very solid game. The defense was tremendous. gave the offense short fields left and right, and the Seahawks defense played really, really well. They still had a kick to win the game. They still were in the football game. That's why you can't drop Seattle out of this, because they had a shot to win the game. And because of that, they're number 4. Number 3 in the pecking order for me, Denver Broncos, 9-2. They have the best defense in the NFL. And this is what's a really interesting look about the Broncos, because when I look at Denver and I say, all right, if the Patriots saw Denver going to Foxborough for an AFC championship game, don't laugh, for an AFC championship game, who's favored and who wins? I think there's a shot that Denver might be favored. Like Denver might, because of the Patriots rookies and because of the inexperience for New England and Mike Vrabel's history about being a 1 seed and what he did with Ryan Tannehill and the Titans and how they got beat at home as the 1 seed. I wonder if the professionals would be betting the Broncos to go in there, because I would be betting the Broncos. Look, the Broncos pass rush is going to be the biggest difference, I think, in what they do in the postseason, because they can get after any quarterback in the NFL and make the life of the quarterback impossible. If you can't run the football on Denver, which is very difficult to do, when they get Patrick Surtain back from the pec injury, and he's supposed to come back as somebody who is currently rehabbing that injury, it sucks. Like, I can tell you right now, it is not a fun injury at all. He's obviously a professional, much younger than I am, and he has a better, support staff around him to get him back faster. But still, I can relate to the pain and the issue. He hasn't had surgery. I had surgery to repair mine, but I know what that's like when you rip the tendon or you hurt the tendon that attaches your pec muscle to your shoulder. It's not fun. And I couldn't imagine playing football with that. So he needs to come back and be healthy. But if he comes back, that's the best cover corner in football. And they beat the Chiefs without the best cover corner in football. So now you have a Sean Payton-led team that's defensively sound. It comes down to Bo Nix, right? What happens with Bo Nix? I understand what the Bronco players are trying to do by running to the defense of Bo Nix, but I think it actually makes them look worse. And I think it actually exposes a little bit of my worry if I was a Bronco fan as to, well, could Bo Nix actually blow my season by going out there and performing horribly in a postseason game? I don't get why you do this. This was after the win over the Chiefs. Adam Trotman, the tight end for the Broncos, tells denversports.com, and it was during a scrum. It wasn't just with one media member. It was multiple media members. If you're talking bleep about Bo online, you're a coward. Absolute coward. He blanks it out. We don't care what other people think. We know what we have in the building, and we know what he's made of, and we don't really care what people have to say. So Dragon Slayer 69 with his 7-Eleven Slurpee in his mom's basement, I don't give a bleep what he has to say, right? And Bo doesn't either. So it's the old, let's rip on the guy in the basement, the keyboard warrior who's saying nasty things about my quarterback. Well, guess what, Adam? It's not just the guys who are in the basement. It's not just your Dungeons and Dragons geeks who are saying this. There are people that I respect that break down film on social media who have clearly shown that Bo Nix has a bunch of deficiencies reading defenses and finding open receivers. It's just factual that Bo Nix has had trouble at certain points in time. This feels very similar to Jalen Hurts with the Eagles to me. And if this is the rallying cry that this Denver Broncos team needs to say, we're going to support our guy, he's our guy, and we're going to rally around him and defend him, okay. Jalen Hurts went and won a championship last year and shut everybody up. So, and the Eagles annihilated the Chiefs. And the Broncos could have a very similar type of game plan in the Super Bowl for whomever that they play, because the Broncos are definitely a contender for the Super Bowl. And if you look at the way that this bracket might be structured, I mean, Denver's going to have a good ride. They're going to have a good run, a good path to the Super Bowl, and who they face on the other side may not be that formidable. Even though there's better teams in the NFC, if the Broncos were to play the Eagles, what's the line from a total perspective? Brigade, do me a favor, play bookmaker. What's the line? What's the total, rather? Not the line. What's the total for that game? Because I'll tell you, for me, it starts at 40. Like, no one's scoring in that game. The Eagles offense cannot score. Great defense. The Broncos offense, I don't think will score. Great defense. I mean, that is a slobber knocker of a football game. Yeah, thanks. 42.5, 38, right? Broncos Eagles is no offense. 44.5. Right. We're all under. We're all around the key number of 42, 43, 44, right? Somewhere it starts at 40 and it kind of goes with a field goal one way or the other. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to be bet under. It's going to be bet under. People don't like betting unders in Super Bowls, but if it's Eagles Broncos, that's going to be an underplay because we're just not going to see offenses. So the idea that like Adam Trotman comes out and starts ripping on anyone that's criticizing Bo Nix, fine. If that's what you need, if that's what you have to motivate you, congratulations. That's great. Okay. Get to Santa Clara and then we can talk. But Bo Nix right now should make you worried. If you're a Bronco fan, you should be concerned about whether or not Bo Nix can play the position to take you to a Super Bowl because it really is their only weakness. It's their only question mark. Okay. Their defense, I just told you about it. No questions there. Their offense, they've got wide receiver weapons, but you got to get the ball out. Okay. J.K. Dobbins is done for the year. Okay. He's out. So now you have Harvey, and he's a great running back, but he's one guy. Okay. So you key in on the running game, you stop the running game, and you make Bo Nix beat you. Can he do it against an elite defense on the road in the playoffs? I don't know. Maybe. They might get the 1 seed. So it may be all going through Denver. And if Denver is the 1 seed, I do think Denver's in the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody beats Denver in the playoffs. The Patriots aren't doing it. The Colts might have, maybe, but I'm not backing Daniel Jones to do it. The Chiefs might be in the playoffs. That's a big might. Okay, they're 5-5. Not sure they're making the postseason at the moment. So the Bills, I don't like that Bills defense at all up against a running attack by the Broncos. I feel like Denver would steamroll Buffalo. So you start looking at the path, you start looking at the brackets, you start going, the Broncos are the best team in the AFC. And at this point, I don't know who beats them. If they're the 1 seed, I think Denver's in the Super Bowl. I don't think I'm smoking anything. I really don't. I'm just telling you what my eyes see. My eyes see the best team in football. Okay. That's what my eyes see. My eyes see one question mark. Okay. Can they run the ball? Yes. Do they have weapons? Yes. Can they throw the ball at times? Yes. How's the offensive line? Good. How's the defense? The best in football. Broncos are the best team in the AFC. And you can make a really strong case that right now they're the best team in football. And if you're talking about a Patriot team that could get the 1 seed, yes, that's the only way the Patriots would be able to beat the Broncos in my mind. If Drake May can go do something that Tom Brady couldn't do, okay? I'm 48 years old. Does the name Carl Mecklenburg mean anything to you guys? How about the Orange Crush defense? I have PTSD nightmares from playing football games, both regular season and playoff games in Denver against the Broncos. The Patriots do not beat the Broncos in Denver. Like, doesn't happen, okay? So if somehow, some way, the Patriots were to do that and do what Tom Brady couldn't do, the Drake May love affair with New England, which is already at tilt, would be even more obnoxious. Like, if Drake May were to go to Denver in the postseason and beat Denver. I don't mean to completely dismiss the Ravens, but I kind of have to dismiss the Ravens There's just something wrong with this Ravens team. I know that they won. They didn't cover, but they won my teaser bet. I teased them down against the Browns. You can say, well, it's the Browns, and their defense is really good. If Denver's won, Denver maybe, if Denver's won, Cleveland is 2 or 3 in terms of great defenses in the NFL, or in the AFC rather. I can't put. I'm not afraid of the Ravens. And Lamar is Lamar. But there's something not right with this team right now. It's my same thing with the Chiefs. There's just something wrong with the Chiefs. There's something wrong with the Bills, and there's something wrong with the Ravens. Like this is a very different year. This is a changing of the guard. This is a turning the page to the next generation of teams and coaches and quarterbacks in the AFC that's happening right before our eyes. And I'm not sure anybody can really conceptualize it because CBS sure as hell can't. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo sure as hell can't, because the golden goose is cooked and being served for Thanksgiving dinner. And they're going to have to deal with, our media darlings are no longer the selling point that we thought. And we told all these brands that everyone's going to be watching Patrick Mahomes again. And oh no, that may not happen. Because going on the road in the playoffs is a hell of a lot different than playing at home. So that's the interesting thing happening in the AFC with Indianapolis, New England, and Denver. That whenever we're talking about Indianapolis, New England, and Denver, there's the yeah, but constantly. Yeah, but Daniel Jones. Yeah, but Drake May's a second-year quarterback. First-year head coach, first year in New England for Mike Vrabel. Denver. Yeah, but Bo Nix. There's always something you're going to point out because they haven't done it yet, right? I mean, we haven't seen Josh Allen win a championship yet. We haven't seen Lamar Jackson win a championship yet. So we don't do the yeah buts to them, but those are MVPs, right? Those are incredible quarterbacks that rise up, that do amazing things. Mahomes is Mahomes. That's the interesting thing going on right now with the AFC. And that's why I think Denver's got a chance to, change the whole narrative. I don't like the fact that players are coming out here and whining publicly. I'll tell you that right now. That I don't like. I don't need Adam Troutman to come out here and start ripping on people that may have some serious concerns about Bo Nix, because I think it's fair to say that's the biggest concern with the team. And you can say that's my guy and I'm good. But if you welcome the criticism, I think, and I saw it online, I saw it on X, where there were people that went at Troutman and said, hey, I'll do a film study with you. I'll break down film. I'll show you the problems I see with Bo Nix, and you can tell me why I'm wrong. Like, there's enough people out there that really do see issues with Bo Nix at the quarterback position. And to say that only, Dungeon and Dragon playing geeks in their basement are the ones saying that is a mistake, because that's not true. There are some very smart football people that feel like, there is a worry. There is a worry here when it comes to Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Number 2, and the only reason why I have the Eagles at number 2 is the fact that their best offensive lineman is going to be out for a significant amount of time. And it's not great when you see Lane Johnson having a Lisfranc injury to his foot, and he's going to most likely go on injured reserve. It's not season ending, but the team's numbers with him versus without him, quite dramatic. It doesn't impact their ability to go back to back in the Super Bowl, but it does impact, in my mind, from a pecking order standpoint, how they play. I feel like the Cowboys are going to go on a run, and I'm going to wind up like 1 or 2 games short of cashing my 7-1 ticket on the Cowboys to win the East. Like, if the Cowboys didn't struggle so mightily defensively early, and again, we'll get to the Raiders here in a couple of minutes. That Cowboys defense, the Raiders offense is garbage. The whole team's garbage. The franchise is garbage. But the performance last night, if you're a Cowboy fan, I mean, you got to be encouraged You got to be. You get 3 players back from injury. You have 2 new faces, one that was a game wrecker at times. That Cowboys defense might be totally different the rest of the way. The Cowboys are 4-5-1. Okay. They're not catching the Eagles. Okay. It would be stunning. The Eagles have to fall apart down the stretch for the Cowboys to catch the Eagles to win the East. But the Cowboys can potentially be a playoff team. They could maybe be a wild card team. Philadelphia wins games, but they aren't winning games in dominant fashion. They're winning games 10-7. Wins are wins, okay? 16-13. Wins are wins. I'm not denying that beating the Lions was really impressive. Dominating the Lions, only giving up 13 points to one of the best offenses in football. Dan Campbell hates kicking, clearly, because Dan Campbell just would not kick field goals against the Eagles. I'm not saying kicking field goals is how you beat Philadelphia, but you might want to mix that in a couple of times there, Dan. It's kind of like pounding beers, like mix in a water once in a while, dude. Like, come on. You got to figure that out. Like, don't know what I was watching. It's like, hey, Dan, kick the damn field goal. Like, what are you doing? Going for it on 4th down 4 times. Like, you're just banging your head against the wall and being like, I'm going to bite someone's kneecap. So I go for it. That's what I do. Sometimes just be smart. Like, sometimes just take the points, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, we all get it. You're trying to justify why you took over the play calling duties because you think you can call the plays better. So you're going to be the head coach and the play caller. How'd that work out for you? Ben Johnson is somewhere rolling around laughing, going, I tried to tell you guys, like, that's why I left. Like, I had to go. So, I don't know. Right. That dude only started kicking it when he was down 10. Right. Yeah. Then he's down 10. Then he kicks the field goal. Right. It's like, come on. Not only going for it, but going for it with terrible play calls. WV Punch Drunk. That's true. No, Eric, I did see the wind, but it is a little bit on the, like, come on, man. Like a 40-yard field goal, 30-yard field goal. Wind or no wind, like, play the wind, right? You've golfed in the wind before. Play the wind. Okay. Just if you have a kick and it goes like way crazy, then fine. But, like, I don't know. Kick the field goal, man. Kick the field goal. Just didn't do it. Just, I don't know. Again, wins or win, but number 1 doesn't change in terms of 1. Well, I guess there were 2. Now they're 1. It's the Rams. 8-2. Massive win over Seattle. Incredible performance. I mean, the playoff picture, the Rams right now, they've got control of the West. And I mean, the 3 best teams in the NFC, if you want to include San Francisco, which I think you have to, at least now with Brock Purdy coming back, have that conversation. Philadelphia is obviously in the conversation as well. But there are 3 teams in the NFC West that you can say, all right, if they were in the Super Bowl, you wouldn't be surprised, with Seattle, the Rams, and the 49ers. The Lions are part of the conversation. But again, with Jared Goff's numbers, with him playing outdoors, like, if you're a Lion fan, you have to be the 1 seed. It has to go through Detroit. And you thought you had it last year, and you lost at home last year to the Commanders. When the play, everything was right in front of you, and you threw up all over yourself. Like, we always seem to forget that. Like, this, whenever we're talking about the Lions, like, they're a great regular season team. They're a great home team. We love what they do, and Dan Campbell and all the shenanigans and everything else. But Jared Goff's record outdoors sucks. He's a great indoor quarterback. He's great in domes, but you put him outside in weather, like in Philadelphia, and he can't do much. The offenses, the numbers just aren't there. So I guess if you're a Lion fan, if you were playing in the NFC Championship game, you want the Rams to be the 1 seed, because then you go to LA to play in a dome and you're like, okay, we can win that. And you can. The Lions can win that. Lions go to LA. Yes. They go to SoFi. The Lions can win that game. But the Lions going to Philadelphia, the Lions going to Seattle, the Lions going to San Francisco, well, that's not going to happen, but you know what I mean. You're going to go outside. I don't like it. I just don't like the Lions' chances. And in football, in the NFC, unless you're playing the Rams, you're going to have to play in weather. And it's weird that the bite your kneecap team, the team that wants to play so physical, that team doesn't play well outdoors. That team with that quarterback, they don't play well outside because you're playing in January outside. And the Super Bowl this year is being played in a venue that's not going to be warm. Okay. I am very much against, and people get mad at me for saying this, but I don't think San Francisco should host a Super Bowl. I don't think anybody who is from a mild to cold climate should ever host the Super Bowl. In particular, playing outside where it could be cold and raining. Like, did you guys see how much rain fell on Napa Valley yesterday? It's flooded. It's pouring here in Vegas. It's been raining on the West Coast for 3 straight days. Like, we're in the desert and like the animals are pairing up here with how much rain we're getting in Vegas. It's weird. We don't get this much rain on the West Coast and or in Nevada, but it's pouring in California. And the Super Bowl is being played in February. So it's going to be 55, 60 degrees. But that's not good for the Lions. Like, that's not, if you're a Lion fan, you don't like that. You want a New Orleans Super Bowl. You want a Miami Super Bowl. I mean, Miami is outdoors, but it's warmer. You want Houston, right? You want somewhere with a dome here in Vegas to Allegiant. Like, you want indoors. So I think there's a lot of things going on. Yes, Super Bowl, Whitrock should never be outside nor south of the Mason-Dixon line. Yes, I completely and totally agree. I just don't. I've always been against this, and I'm efforting to go back to this. I don't know what I'm doing yet for the Super Bowl. I got to figure things out because I'm going the Betting Pros trip. So every year, Betting Pros goes on a trip. Last year, he was here in Las Vegas, but the Betting Pros trip is going to New Orleans the week before the Super Bowl. During the bye week, during the off week, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to New Orleans. So like, that's a crazy 2-week period for me. If I'm going to New Orleans for 4 days to then turn around and going to Santa Clara for 4 days, I do have a daughter. I do have to take care of my kid. So I don't know exactly how that's all going to work out. I'm still efforting to figure that whole thing, how that's going to roll, but we're going to get through Thanksgiving. I'm leaving on a trip on Monday. I fly out Monday afternoon. I'll tell you guys more about the schedule for next week. Most likely, we're going to do a very early show on Monday, like 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern, probably. And then normal show Tuesday, normal show Wednesday, no show Thursday, no show Friday for the Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And then we come back the following Monday. So next week, 3 shows, but the Monday show probably early. I'm on a flight at like 2:00 back to Boston for Thanksgiving for next week. So I'll get through all that and then we'll figure out the Super Bowl. But I like where we are from a betting perspective and a viewership perspective. I like where we are right now overall. I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Yes, New Orleans then to the Super Bowl would be a heck of a trip. I don't think I would go direct, Whitrock. I think I probably would come back to Vegas for a couple of days because as of right now, the trip ends on Saturday in New Orleans. And then we come back. So I don't know what's going on for the Daily Juice for that period of time. I don't know. So I'll tell you guys later. If you're Daily Juice listeners, watchers, I'll tell you later once we get closer to it. I don't know we're staying at the most haunted hotel in New Orleans. It's called the Bourbon something or other. It's on Bourbon Street. So this will be like, the last time I was in New Orleans, I was on my honeymoon. That's the last time I was in New Orleans. So it's been a minute. It's been about 13 years since I've been to New Orleans. I'm not married anymore, FYI. So it was about 13 years ago. So I was in New Orleans. So it's been a minute since I've been in New Orleans for that. So I'm excited to go back and check it out. It's one of my favorite cities in the country. I love Nashville. I love New Orleans, and I love Las Vegas. I live in Vegas. I lived an hour south of Nashville, and I took my honeymoon to New Orleans. So those have always been like my holy trinity of cities in the country that I have loved to live, loved to visit. Just love the vibe of all three of those cities. So I'm excited to get down there, but I'd probably come back to Vegas, spend a couple days here, and then head to Santa Clara. And that could be, I mean, it's not in San Francisco. That's the problem with that Super Bowl. Okay. So the venue is like an hour outside of San Francisco. And so all of the festivities happen in San Francisco. The game itself is at, an hour away. So like, what do you do for media night? Because media night for when it was here, media night was in the stadium. So now media night probably is going to be at the convention center for in San Francisco. Or what is that? There's another venue that's like the convention center in downtown San Francisco to have that. So it's a wonky city. I mean, San Fran is I love San Francisco. It's a great city, but has had some problems recently. If you haven't been there recently, San Fran is going through it a little bit. So I'll be curious how the whole entire thing starts off. But do the whole show in a Creole accent. Yeah, that'll be fun, Sonic. Me throwing beads. We will be there a week before Mardi Gras. So there won't be Saturday, the day we fly out on the 31st of January, I believe is the first day of Mardi Gras. So there's been some people saying you should stay until Sunday, like push the flight, stay till Sunday, hang out on Bourbon Street, hang out for the first day of Mardi Gras in New Orleans. I've never been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans. So there is that thought, but it is a, I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out, but there is that theory that I would potentially be there right before Mardi Gras. Yeah. It's right before Mardi Gras. So yeah, they call it Nash Vegas for a reason. When I was going to Nashville though, here's the problem. No, Whitrock, I want Amanda to come. So I want her to be with me. I'm trying to get her to come down with me. Be like, hey, come down to the end. We'll stay over a couple extra days. We'll hang out and then we'll go. So I'm trying to get her to hang out to fly down. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm trying to get her to come with me. And then we can go to the first couple of days of Mardi Gras. I just like to eat. Like New Orleans to me, everyone else goes to New Orleans to drink. I go there to eat. Like I'm a foodie. And I love the bars. I love the restaurants. I love the alcohol. I love it all, but I don't go there to get cracked and just go, wander my hotel room at 4:00 in the morning. I'm 48 years old. I'm past all those things. I just want to go and eat, yes, exactly. 100% St. Louis Ray. I'm too old to do Mardi Gras. 100%. I'm not interested. Boobs are awesome. I love boobs. I've seen a lot of them in my life. Okay. Go ahead and show me whatever you want. But like, I'm not going to say no to it, but I'm not like efforting going like when I was in my 20s where it was like Mardi Gras, go get beads. Let's go. Okay. I'm okay. I've gone down that road quite a bit. I'm not efforting to spend my time doing that. I would much rather put my face into a phenomenal plate of food at 48. Okay. Just where I am on this. So it's an amazing city. Yes, Whitrock. It's an amazing city for food. Just such great culture, amazing mixtures of Creole and French and American and Southern. And the only thing I will not eat in New Orleans, I will not eat their oysters. Warm water oysters, Gulf of Mexico oysters are raunchy. They are nasty. They are absolutely nasty. Yes, I am a boob. That's a good thing. Yes. It's not a bad thing, right? If we like boobs, you call somebody a boob, but you like boobs. So what's the point? Addison, just for you, just for you, you asked for it and I delivered. Not only did I clip I also clipped. So now you get soundboards. So we get that because Addison. So when someone says something, we'll go with that. So we got that coming up on all of that. So I may be too old, but I definitely try to hang. That's my thing too, right? Like every now and then I do try, right? Like damn it, let's go. Like every now and then you get the itch. Mostly it's with my Nebraska friends. Like when I'm around my Omaha friends, that's when, because they still throw down, like they're in their early 40s and they still throw down like they're in their 20s. So whenever I'm around them, then I get going on with that. Oh, you're going to send me, you lose? Do it. Yeah, send me that for sure. Yeah, the touchdown wow is maybe the best clip for a long time. That's just, if you're Gus Johnson, are you happy that now is going to become a drop on every show? Like, this isn't, like, that's not too bad. Like, unbelievable is not too bad. But like this, I don't know. That's one of those, like, it sounds like someone's stepping on something of his really hard. He's like, oh, he's like gripping. Oh, it's too good. It's too good. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Patriots 5, Seattle 4, 3 for the Broncos, 2 for the Eagles, and 1 for the Rams. Yahoo Sports is top 4. A little different. Seahawks 4, I agree. They have the Broncos at 5, Colts at 3, Rams at 2, Eagles at 1. I have the Rams at 1, Eagles at 2. Colts, I can't put the Colts in there. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't put Indy in my top 5, not with the way they played, not with the turnovers, not with the questions I've got for Indianapolis. And frankly, I think they're in trouble this weekend against the Chiefs. So, I was putting it together. I'm like, where am I putting the Colts? And I was like, I'm not, because I think they're going to go to Indy. They're going to go to Arrowhead and lose. I think the Chiefs defense is going to be a big problem for Daniel Jones. Look, I like this defense for Indianapolis, but I think you have a really angry, this Chief team, you're going to get the A+ performance out of the Chiefs this weekend. Like, you're going to get the best performance of the season for the Chiefs. 5 and 6. I mean, 5 and 6. Come on. I can't see it. It's a 3-point number. Bet it now. So for that reason, that's why I'm taking them off. I had the Colts out of my top 5. Let's talk about what happened last night. All right, this is real talk here. The Raiders need to fire Chip Kelly. He's got to go. Chip Kelly is the highest paid offensive coordinator in football. He's the highest paid offensive coordinator in football. If you aren't going to fire Pete Carroll, and I'm not so sure it's a smart move to fire Pete Carroll after 1 year, okay? But Chip Kelly's got to go. That offense, week in and week out, you cannot tell me that injuries, the reason why the offense is bad for the Raiders is because of injuries for the offensive line. Not buying it. Sorry. You're asking Geno Smith, who now has thrown 12 interceptions in the league. You're asking him to drop back in the first half 91.4% of the time. He refuses to establish the run. Refuses. They had the lead last night. Like, they went up 3-0. Like, it doesn't make any sense when you watch the Raiders. One, they have no identity. They have no idea who they are. They have no idea what they're trying to do game in to game out. They have no idea what their philosophy is game in and game out. If it's not for Max Crosby sacking the quarterback and causing sacks and fumbles, that's it. That's the only thing you can bank on going into a game, is that Max Crosby is going to give you 110% and going to be a game wrecker. At some point, he will make a big play for that defense. After that, there is nothing you can count on for the Raiders except for Geno Smith throwing picks and the team losing the game. I mean, those are the two things you can bank on going into a Raider game. You know what you've got. I'll just put this up from our friend Adam Hill, who we have to get back on the program at some point very soon. Adam Hill, who covers the Raiders for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Here's my summary of Monday night's game against the Cowboys. The Raiders had too many men on the field on defense for a play in which the Cowboys were taking a knee to run out the clock. And it wasn't even just 12 men. They had more than 12 players on the field for a Dak Prescott kneel down. I mean, like, what are we doing? I went into the game telling you that the Raiders were going to get killed. And I bet it like the Raiders were going to get killed. And so a part of me is like, don't worry about it. Keep on betting. Don't be frustrated about it. Just keep on betting it. I laid team total over 26.5. I laid not -6
at plus 150. I laid -3 at minus 110. I took Tyler Lockett over 27.5 receiving yards. I took Geno Smith to throw a pick. They all hit. I had a clean sweep last night because I'm here and I'm watching this team and I'm going, and I said it yesterday on the show, how in the hell is anybody betting on the Raiders to cover that line? They're not going to cover the line. An inspired Cowboys team after the death of one of their teammates during the bye week. It's Dak Prescott, who were 13, now 14-1 as a favorite in prime time. You have a Geno Smith-led team who now is 4-15 in prime time, straight up. Like every trend, every number. And oh yeah, by the way, Chip Kelly doesn't know what he's doing. I'd take the paycheck too. You want to pay me a ton of money to call plays? Sure. This team drafted a running back in the top 10 and they don't give him the football. Like they don't, if you're going to draft a running back, give him the ball. They had 4 carries. And then when it was time to give him the ball, you chose to do so with a draw play up the middle from your 1-yard line, which got stopped for a safety. The safety, which by the way, caused that game to go over. That safety, that's just a brutal loss. If you had under 49.5, under 49, under 50, just brutal. You're like, just survive. The Cowboys they were done. They had 33 points. They were done. They didn't care. They had stopped trying. They knew the game was over. A safety burned you. A safety with a run play for an offensive coordinator who refused to run the ball during the first half. But then he chooses to run the football when it's on the 1-yard line against a defensive front that you could not move all game. But when it comes to then being 1 yard away from a safety, you choose to run the football on a draw play. No play action, no, nothing but just straight up the gut. And a loss of 2 yards is the result. And it winds up being a safety. Just unbelievable. Yes. And your running back is the worst in the NFL in yards after contact. I mean, if you're a Raider fan, I have no idea how you are supporting this franchise. They are lacking leadership. They are lacking direction. They are lacking any sort of identity. And I don't think you can fire Pete Carroll because he's 73 years old. And who are you going to get? Like, the revolving door at the head coaching position has to stop at some point. You have to sit and just wallow in it for a bit. And I think with Pete Carroll, it's not a horrible guy to sit there with. But you got to get rid of the offensive coordinator. And I'm a Chip Kelly guy. I'm a Boston guy, okay? I like Chip Kelly. I think he's a very good offensive mind. He was a horrible head coach in Philadelphia, but in the college ranks or with a team with a identity, I think Chip Kelly can be a good coach in the NFL if he wants to stick around. But here in Vegas, come on, Tom Brady. Like, what are you doing? Again, Tom Brady, your name is on this team. You are a part owner of this team. You were there last night. You witnessed that debacle. You were there for that embarrassment. This is not going to get better. This team is not going to improve. You want them to tank now for the number 1 pick. Okay. Ty Simpson, come on down. Okay. There's your new quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. And you just pray he's not Jamarcus Russell. You just try to find a way to get a guy here who can play the position at a competent level, who can then give you hope. That's all you want as a Raider fan. You want some level of hope. You have 3 Hall of Fame head coaches in your damn division. In your division. You have Andy Reid, you have Sean Payton, and you have Jim Harbaugh. You had to go with Pete Carroll because you tried to get a guy who could match wits with those guys, with those elite coaching talent. But it's not working. And maybe it doesn't work next year either. But again, I don't fire Pete Carroll just from the revolving door standpoint. But I do try to get the 1 pick. I do try to tank. Here on out, you have 2 wins. Yeah. You should go 2-15. Like, just lose the rest of the games. Sit down, Ashton Genty. Like, forget anything. Like, You should have traded away everyone. Max Crosby is the most valuable piece for the franchise, but Max loves being a Raider. Max loves living in Vegas. Max loves playing for the Davis family. He does not want to be traded. He wants to be here. So, but your most valuable chip could have brought back first round picks, maybe 2 of them, if you had gone and looked to move him at the deadline. He does not want to be traded, so I don't think he'll ever be traded, but that's a guy that you may want to look at for the future. Now, on the flip side, the Dallas Cowboys are 4-5-1. I think if you're a Cowboy fan, I think you can start to daydream a little bit about if the defense can perform with 5 new players. That was a totally new defense for the Cowboys last night. If you could find your way to a wild card spot, I don't think it's impossible. Now, they've got a really tough stretch. I don't think anybody would do well. Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers. Okay? That is a 5-game gauntlet that this team is going to go through. The Eagles game at home, you got them at home. Could you potentially beat them? You lost 24-20 in week 1. Could you beat them at home? I think you have to at least entertain the idea that it's possible. Divisional game at home, new defense. Where are the Chiefs? Because the Chiefs come to Dallas after the Eagles go to Dallas. If the Chiefs lose to the Colts, I mean, if you're the Cowboys, you want the Chiefs to play their best game of the year. You want an absolute stellar performance, take care of business, beat the Colts, and then you're going on Thanksgiving, you're going to Dallas for a monster game between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. The Cowboys' record on Thanksgiving is pretty good. Okay? It's pretty good. Plus 760 for the Cowboys to make the playoffs right now. That's the Cowboys, right? Not the Raiders-ish, right? We're talking about the Cowboys? Plus 760. It's going to be difficult. I'll just say that. It's going to be hard because after you play the Chiefs, you have to go to the Lions and play on Thursday Night Football. That's not going to be easy. The week after, the Lions play on Thanksgiving too. So do you. Then the Vikings go to Dallas, then the Chargers, then the Commanders on the road, and the Giants on the road. Let's just say they win their last 4 games. Okay, so that's 8 wins. Of the 5 I just had talked about, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings. Let's do those 4, okay? How many games do they wind up winning there? I think if they go 2-2, that would be pretty good. Now, which 2 do they get? Out maybe Eagles, Vikings, and they lose to the Chiefs and the Lions? That's possible. I mean, I think that's potential. So then they have 6 wins, and they would have the Chargers, Commanders, and Giants to go. If they win those 3 games, that's 9-8. Does 9-8 get them into the postseason? I mean, as of right now, San Francisco is 7-4. They occupy the last wild card spot. Green Bay is 6-3-1. Seattle is 7-3. You're starting to run into a pretty difficult situation here if you're Dallas. You might need to have 10 wins if you're Dallas. And I'm not sure they can get to 10 wins. 9-7-1 might get them in because of the tie, Whitrock. What could be crazy is that tie might get Dallas into the postseason, which is ridiculous, but it's possible. I think they need to get to 10. I mean, 10 wins, 6 losses. Yeah, I don't know. No way. 10-6-1. They lose 1 more game the rest of the way. Nah. They're going to have 7. 9-7-1. Maybe. That's a big maybe in my mind. Okay, to college football. Are you guys following this Lane Kiffin story? I did not see Lane Kiffin on Pat today. So if Lane said something on Pat today, let me know in the chat. I did not see it. But Lane Kiffin's been given an ultimatum by Ole Miss. And the ultimatum is he must choose or at least inform the team as to what his intentions are going to be going forward by the Egg Bowl, by the time the team plays against Mississippi State. Now, what has happened recently? Lane Kiffin's family last weekend toured both Baton Rouge and Gainesville, Florida. Those are jobs that are currently open, LSU and Florida. The fact that this has leaked out is wild. Okay, thank you, JC. He denied the ultimatum was given to him. Okay, so he's denying the report that he was given an ultimatum. It does seem weird. I will admit that it did not seem real to me. Sonic with the quote. There has been no ultimatum, and that's absolutely not true. We're having a blast, and I love it here. Sonic, did he say he's staying, or did he say he loves it there? Because you can say you can say that you love it in Oxford and mean it, but LSU is going to pay me more money than Ole Miss could ever dream of. If you're Lane Kiffin, he has decided to troll his own fan base, which I'm not really and I give him credit for going on Pat. I think that's what you're supposed to do. If you're trying to calm down fan bases, go public, talk to an interviewer and have a conversation. But he did put this up today. Have the best Tuesday ever, everyone. And it's a quote from a book, day 223. How do you know what to do next? You ask yourself honestly what your 90-year-old self would advise you to do, what they would have wished you had done. You ask yourself honestly what you've sensed from the beginning, what you have ignored, what you have quieted and distracted yourself from. You make two lists, the positives and the negatives, and you weigh them. And if there's one thing on the left that overpowers the dozens of things on the right, then you trust that. You ask yourself what path will make you more of the person you are meant to be. Like, what in the hell is that, Lane Kiffin? Like, what are you doing by posting that? Like, that is mean. Like that. So what you're telling your fans is that we are struggling with the determination as to what to do going forward. Do I want to be here? Can I win a championship? Ole Miss is going to be a playoff team, most likely. So if Ole Miss is in the postseason bid and in the college football playoff, how much better does it get at LSU? How much better does it get at Florida? I don't understand. I like Lane Kiffin a lot. I like his personality. I like his demeanor. The 30 for 30 on his life is going to be crazy. From the USC job to the Tennessee job, like the way this guy has operated in the public sphere is amazing. And he wins. He absolutely wins. But if you're LSU in Florida, the pressure that comes with those jobs is so different. You have to win right away, and not just win. You got to win national championships. You got to be in the playoff, and you got to make a run, and you got to win, or they're going to run you out of town like they did Brian Kelly. So I just don't know, when you look at Lane Kiffin and you go, dude, if you stay at Ole Miss for like the next decade, and he belongs in college, if you stay there and you go deep into a playoff run, or God forbid you win a national championship at Ole Miss, they not only name the stadium after you, there's a statue on campus of you. Like, you are a god for eternity. So I don't know why it leaks out that your family is in Gainesville or your family is in Baton Rouge. Maybe you're trying to get Ole Miss to pay you more. I don't know. But it's crazy. His demeanor, his ability to garner attention, and his personality is such that I'm not so sure it works at a place like LSU or Florida. Because again, you got to win. The reason why Ole Miss loves you is because you've won. And their bar is much lower than what LSU and Florida fans are going to demand.
Ole Miss wants to win, obviously, but I mean, last time they won anything big was Archie Manning was the quarterback. LSU in Florida. There's more recent history here at those schools to win and to win right away. So, and you're going inside the conference again. You will have coached at Tennessee, at Ole Miss, and now LSU or Florida. Like, you're starting to build up a lot of animosity around the conference. People don't like you. That can be a big problem when you go on the road. So we'll watch that situation as it unfolds. But a lot of heat coming down on the Ole Miss football program right now involving Lane Kiffin. So if you guys are watching live on YouTube, X, or listening on the podcast, don't move. We got more to come. If you are on the replay crew, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Wednesday, tomorrow, big look at the college football slate. Thursday for Adam Bjorn for a Bet Chris Thursday. Tomorrow we'll do a lot of college big games coming up in the college football ranks that we'll break down tomorrow. Bonus time starts now. Okay. Couple college basketball games tonight. We'll start with this one. I have no idea what to do with either game, to be quite honest. I am ice cold. I'm 1 for 6 to start college basketball betting. Okay. Hasn't gone well. So I am timeout, pause. I'm doing well in hockey. I'm doing well in the NBA. I'm doing really well in the NFL. I don't want any part of this game tonight, except watching it. If I was going to bet it, I would bet on Kentucky at MSG. They should have more fans there, but there will be a lot of Spartan fans there. Michigan State, already I am 0-1 betting on Michigan State. I faded Michigan State in their game. Which game was that? That was, let's see, that Michigan State game was against Arkansas. I took +2 or +1.5 for Arkansas. Arkansas lost the game by 3. So hard fought game, but that was at the Breslin Center. Big win for Michigan State. Tonight, KenPom has this as a 6-point win for Kentucky. And I bet on Kentucky against Louisville, and Louisville beat Kentucky. Louisville won and covered in that game. So clearly, I have not seen either one of these teams well to start the season. And so I'm going pause, not touching this game. But this is going to be a great game. And the defensive, I mean, I think maybe the under might be a decent look, but I'm not betting an under in a college basketball game right now. So, like, I am very curious to see how this plays out and the way this goes. But if I'm betting anything, I would take Kentucky -4.5, but I'm not betting it. The late game is Kansas and Duke. Now, boy, 11 points. This has been as high as 12.5. KenPom has Duke as the number 2 team in the country. Duke has beaten Texas by 15, Army by 1 million, and Indiana State by almost 40, 38. They have covered every game. Kansas, off to a decent start, but they lost to North Carolina on the road badly, 87-74. They beat Green Bay, they beat A&M Corpus Christi, and they beat Princeton. So we don't know exactly what Bill Self has. He has one of the best young freshmen in the country and a player everyone's Darren Peterson, everyone wants to watch this kid to see what he's going to look like. He's really good. 6'6" freshman. They've compared him to Kobe. I don't know if I'm going that far, but I don't know. This seems heavy. 11 points. Like, this is either Duke by 20 or KU's in the game, and KU may have a shot to win the game late. So I don't know what to do with that game. Like, that game is, I'm going to be very, very curious. What time is tip? Well, the first game's going to play first, Jimmy Football. So we don't know what time tip is for the late game at MSG. So if the first game goes to overtime, it screws everything up. So we don't know yet. But the first, by the projected times, hold on, for tip tonight. Let's see. The projected time is 6:30 Eastern for Michigan State, Kentucky, and 9 p.m. Eastern for Kansas Duke. State Farm Champions Classic at MSG. So two games with 2 ranked teams facing off against each other. So good night in college basketball. Oh, Ish is coming in with his team totals. Duke
over 79.5 and Kansas over 68.5. I think I like the Duke number better than the KU number. Duke might, I don't know. Little worried about that. I mean, KU scored 76 points against Princeton and 77 points against Corpus Christi. Now they're facing Duke. I don't know. I like over on Duke's points. I think Duke scores. Not sure I take the KU over 68.5. It's a little concerning. So what am I betting tonight? Let's make some bets. Just the picks being presented by the prop bet cheat sheet from Betting Pros. It is an NBA night, so you can go and check out not just for the NFL, but the NBA for the prop bet cheat sheet by going and downloading the Betting Pros app or by going to bettingpros.com/props. You can get daily projections for props with value rankings based on projections. You can find the best props for all major categories in the NBA and the NFL. Use it now by going to bettingpros.com/props or by downloading the Betting Pros app to check it out. We are going tonight for the over for Toronto, who has been the number one over team in hockey so far this season. There's a decent schedule for the NHL tonight. So you got St. Louis on the road against Toronto. St. Louis is pretty much a 500 team for overs, but Toronto has been just ridiculous, and they've been losing all of these games. Their last game went under against the Blackhawks on the road. I bet it. But their home games, 4-3 loss to the Kings, 5-4 loss to the Hurricanes, 5-3 win against the Mammoth, 4-3 win against the Penguins, 4-3 win against the Flames. This is a 5-2, 4-3 game. Cannot believe it's 5.5. This for the Maple Leafs. If you see 5.5 or 6 for any game for the next month for Toronto, bet the over. Like it's just like an automatic play for me to go ahead and bet the over for the Maple Leafs. They're playing wide open hockey. They're scoring a ton, but they're also giving up a ton. So it's over 5.5. If you can find it, I would say even play over 6. I don't mind it. One NBA bet. I laid the 1 with the Pistons last night. What is that number currently here for Atlanta hosting Detroit? 1.5 for Detroit. It opened up with Atlanta the favorite, then it flipped because the Pistons have won 10 games in a row. They're 12-2, second best record in the NBA, and they've won 10 games in a row. Don't mind betting the streak here with the Pistons and just getting involved here. This team, Cade Cunningham, signed a big contract with Nike to extend his shoe deal with them. So, he's going to be fired up to go out there and play. I like Detroit to go ahead. You got plus 1.5. Good job, ND9 Irish. Go Irish. That's a good number. You got the open. The open was 1.5. It's flipped. It's one bucket, though. Hopefully it won't matter. 9-5 Atlanta. They're not bad. I mean, Atlanta's in first place in their division, too. So 9-5. They've won 5 games straight as well. So something's got to give. This game should be on national TV. It's not because it's Detroit and Atlanta. But this is a good game tonight between Detroit and Atlanta. In fact, I think it's the best game of the night. Golden State and Orlando is good, but your Peacock games tonight are Memphis at San Antonio without Wembanyama. He is out for 2 to 3 weeks with a calf injury, and Phoenix at Portland. Portland's played well this year out of the gate. Portland's been a little bit of a surprise at 6-7. Phoenix at 8-6 coming up here for tonight. But yep, Detroit basketball, Rain. Look, Detroit's for real. This is going to be a fun time. We talked about it last year with the Tigers playing really well, the Red Wings being a very young and exciting hockey team, and what Cade Cunningham could do this year for the Pistons. This is good. This is good. I think if you are a Detroit basketball fan, Detroit sports fan, good time. The prop bet of the day is hinging on whether or not the dude's playing. Okay. Here's the thing. Prop bet of the day. Is LeBron playing tonight? He is questionable against the Utah Jazz, but his prop number is 15.5. After what Luka is doing. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about the Lions. Sorry. I should include the Lions. They're the best team of the 4. So apologies. Yes, thank you for the correction. I should have said the Lions for Detroit. But if LeBron plays tonight, he's had to watch Luka And you know how LeBron is. You know how petty this guy is. I'm just going to bet on the pettiness that he's going to come out and LeBron, if he plays, is going to score like 25 points tonight. Like it's too low. You could say he's on a minutes restrictions and the sciatica nerve issue he's dealing with. They're not going to push it. I don't. If LeBron plays, LeBron scores tonight. I can't see him being babied. I think if he plays, he goes full tilt. They don't play till Sunday. So he can play tonight, get all rehab and get all fixed up to play on Sunday. They got a nice break. Now, you can also say, well, maybe he doesn't play till the weekend. That's possible too. He doesn't play tonight and he just takes the extra rest. But he, according to all reports, he wants to play. Like he's pushing hard to play tonight. And again, Luka Doncic is taking over his team. Yes, I agree. LeBron's not passing to anyone tonight. I agree. Like this is give me the ball and get out of the way type thing for LeBron James. So again, if he plays, I'm betting over 15.5 for LeBron James scoring because I think he will go crazy. I don't know what the assist number is. Let me see. It is 4.5. Rebounds are 5.5. 1.5 over 1.5 made threes is plus money. If you think he'll be a jump shooter, 20.5 points and assists, slightly juiced to the over for LeBron. So again, is LeBron going to play? They're at home. I think he plays. I think LeBron's playing, and I think we bet over 15.5 points for LeBron James coming up here for tonight. So we'll see. If he doesn't play, then no play. But if he does play over 15.5 points, I'm jumping on it. News of the industry. All right. This has been a pretty interesting 48 hours. And again, it all revolves around the prediction markets and what's going on between DraftKings and FanDuel. And now DraftKings and FanDuel have resigned from the American Gaming Association over their disagreements about the future of prediction markets. Clearly, DraftKings and FanDuel both believe that this is going to be a big thing, that this is going to be something where when they don't have legalized sports betting like California, that they're going to go directly at that state with prediction markets to try to get the business. AGA folks have said no. AGA, the American Gaming Association, has said that prediction markets are sports betting and sports betting should be dictated by the states. And so FanDuel and DraftKings have resigned from the American Gaming Association. There is also a lot of issues going on around California because FanDuel and DraftKings both had told the tribes in California that they were not going to target California with prediction markets. And now both have said they will directly target California with prediction markets because California does not have legalized sports gambling and neither does Texas. That is the number one reason why both DraftKings and FanDuel have decided to pick this fight, because they feel like ultimately they're going to win. And ultimately they're going to be able to offer a brand, a angle, a type of sports gambling to California and Texas residents. I mean, Kalshi's already been advertising like crazy. Kalshi has already been told this week by a judge that we're probably going to pull your injunction and you're going to have to stop offering markets in Nevada. That's going to happen. And both FanDuel and DraftKings have decided to withdraw their application for a gaming license in Nevada. I've always been told that both DraftKings and FanDuel were never going to get approved here, that they never were going to be allowed to operate because they would need to have brick and mortar, and DraftKings and FanDuel have no interest in brick and mortar. They just want to operate mobily. That's it. And so FanDuel had partnered with Boyd to allow Boyd to white label their books to FanDuel and use their lines at times in order to get an established branding or a brick and mortar. And when I go over, and I've been to the Sun Coast here in Summerlin where I live, it's a FanDuel book. It's Boyd's numbers. It's Boyd's risk. It just says FanDuel. So at times I can get FanDuel numbers and FanDuel lines here. but I'm still betting with Boyd. I'm not betting with FanDuel. FanDuel ultimately wanted to be a part of Nevada. That now is gone. The interesting thought, and this is something that people have been speculating online, and I don't know if this is what they really want to do long term, but there is a question about whether or not FanDuel and DraftKings will have their bluffs called by states that have said, if you offer a prediction market in a non-sports betting legal state, we will pull your license from our state. Ohio has said it. Arizona has said it. Massachusetts has said it. I think New Jersey has said it, where if you choose to offer a sport prediction market outside of our state, but you are licensed in our state, we will then pull your license here in this state, and you will no longer be able to offer legalized sports gambling in our state. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if those states follow through with that. Because could you imagine the big population states of Ohio, New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, the places in which DraftKings and FanDuel pull their biggest amounts of money and make their biggest amounts of money, if those states yanked their licenses? Because if those big states yank their licenses, you have to assume that other smaller states would follow suit to pull their licenses. Now, in states like Delaware, DC, and New Hampshire, there are monopolies. DraftKings is not having their license pulled, but those are small population states. So I'm fascinated by this. I am completely fascinated to watch and see how this goes, because FanDuel and DraftKings are banking that the tax revenue that these states are getting is enough that satisfies them to keep that decision at bay to pull their license. But what if that money is not enough? Because remember, if you want to go back 2 years ago when Dave and I were having these conversations about what the tax revenue was, the generated money was by far less than what was expected, that the revenue projections for these states, it was so out of whack from what they actually were going to get, that these states then turned around and decided to say, well, wait a minute. You guys are going to go do business, which we consider to be illegal. We don't believe it is legal to offer a prediction market into a state that has not legalized sports gambling. You were then operating in a legal sports gambling operation. You have violated the rules of having a license to operate in our state, and thus we're going to pull your license, and you can't operate here anymore. Is that saber rattling, or is that really going to happen? Because the sports betting ecosystem would change dramatically. Do you know who is the biggest winner in all of this? There are two gigantic winners. If that situation were to happen, where FanDuel and DraftKings saw all their licenses getting pulled because they start offering prediction marketplaces in Texas and California, BetMGM and Caesars wind up being perfectly aligned with the states that they are operating in. And all those customers that are then unable to use DraftKings and FanDuel, they then go directly over to BetMGM and Caesars, who have been adamant that they will not do prediction markets, that they will not operate in a state in which legalized sports gambling is not allowed. It has been outlawed. That the prediction marketplace could literally swing billions of dollars in the sports gambling market to BetMGM and to Caesars. It's a fascinating game of chess as to how it all plays out, because here's the issue. If BetMGM and Caesars pick up the slack, Jimmy Football, if you're a Circa, right? If you're sitting in Illinois and DraftKings and FanDuel gone, right? Snap of a finger, they're gone. There's a lot of people that will be looking for different places to play and different places to bet their games. And everyone downstream is going to benefit. Obviously, the next big two are BetMGM and Caesars. But you also have others that are operating in states that have opportunity to jump on. So you would have a lot of people looking around for new homes be huge. It would be absolutely huge for BetMGM and Caesars if these states were to follow suit. And frankly, if you look at states like Massachusetts, they have obviously a very large casino from MGM in the western part of the state. There are other states in which Caesars and MGM properties exist and would benefit to drive business to them when DraftKings and FanDuel then leave. It's a win-win-win. It would be wild. So this situation, it has more than just face value. There's more going on here than just, FanDuel and DraftKings is, they're going to be at war with the AGA. And now they've separated. This is, as Steve Brubaker said to us a couple of months ago, this story is either the most consequential, most incredible story in our lifetime involving sports betting companies and the sports betting industry, or in 6 months, it turns into a big ball of nothing. It's turning into the most consequential, most incredible story in the sports betting industry in our lifetime. Every day there's something new that changes. Not that this story will be a flash in the pan, but rather a gigantic multi-state, multi-billion-dollar situation that impacts so many people across the country who are involved in the sports betting world. We'll watch it for you. We'll keep going. More to come. We're nowhere near the end of it as of yet. We're nowhere near finding a resolution as to what the future will hold for the sports prediction marketplaces. Favorite thing about today. My favorite thing about today is that I get to be busy. I was reading something today about, we complain so much about, I have so many things to do. I have so much going on right now. I do. I have just a ton of stuff today going on. I had to go to the dentist this morning. We had to do a meeting today. I had to do the show. I'm going to my physical therapist appointments. My daughter has 2 things to do this afternoon. And I think if we all stop for a second and remember that there are people who would love to be busy. And it's on times like that where all I could think about was Dave. And I was like, man, like, it would be on days like today, I'd be running around. He'd be like, where are you going? And I'd be like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. And he'd be like, okay, do this, meet me here. Okay. And I'd stop by in the middle of all the chaos. I'd go and see him, and we'd stop by and do something, or I'd stop by his house, or I'd stop by. And, he would call me like bitching and moaning about something, about like, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. Or I'm, they called me into work at Sports Grid, or whatever it might happen. It would be going on. So it kind of gave me pause to say, to appreciate the time, to appreciate the fact that I get to complain, that I get to be busy, not that I am busy, but I get to be busy. I get to have to do things, that I have a bunch of stuff going on, that is a privilege, and that is not a curse or a weight to bear, but rather I get to do something. I get the opportunity to go and take my daughter to guitar lessons, take my daughter to her singing lessons, to go and work on my shoulder to get rehabbed, right? To come here and sit down and talk with you guys for an hour and a half each day and having conversations about what's going on. So favorite thing about today is that I get to be busy, and I think I'm blessed and thankful that I get to be busy, and I get to run around and go crazy today, and get to come back tomorrow and do the show with you guys coming up for tomorrow. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. The show on Sports Grid's been wild. I've been watching it on Sports Grid. So if you guys are coming on over, if you're watching the hour on Sports Grid and then coming over to the YouTube channel, thank you for doing that. Hit the like button. If you've not subscribed, we're still trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're like 65 left. Like, we're close. We're getting there. So tell somebody, hit subscribe, do us a favor, and get us to 3,000 by the end of 2025. The anniversary of the start of BVB is in December. December 17th is when we started the show by my records coming up. So we got some planning to do coming up for what would have been the 4-year anniversary for Dave and I.
for BVB, which is crazy to stop and think about that. But we'll do a special show coming up on the 17th to honor Dave and honor the start of this show from 4 years ago in 2021, in December of 21, when this show started 4 years ago. Back tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern for a Wednesday's BVB.